Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for being here today. We're learning about Facebook Live. Remember, while the presenter is chatting, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and we will address them during the Q&A portion. Amy's going to talk for about 45, 50 minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A. And we might be able to answer some questions if you put them in the chat while she's presenting, depending on what you're asking. So I will introduce Amy and then go ahead and turn it over to her so we can get right to the learning. Like I said, we're hearing from Amy Bagnall. She's the founder and principal of Rattlebox Marketing. She has a depth of communication experience at ad agencies and in corporate marketing teams. And she's here to chat with us about Facebook Live. And if you haven't had a chance to log into your organization's Facebook account yet, take a second and do that now, because Amy will be walking you through how to navigate that platform. Okay, Amy, take it away. Can you unmute yourself, or do I need to do that?
Y'all can hear me okay? Well, let me very quickly start the slideshow. So thank you so much, by the way, for letting me be a part of this. It's really exciting. I think that most, if not all of you, are familiar with Facebook. It's the Walmart of social media. And as we look at Facebook Live, it may be something that you're familiar with, or maybe you're not. Maybe you've done some video on your site personally or on your arts organization page. What this presentation is about is really Facebook Live 1.0. And while I may touch on things you're already very familiar with, what hopefully might happen is you may be familiar with some things, learn some things, and your input can also help everyone in this call just moderate this particular program through Facebook. And honestly, people, as we look at social media, video is by far the most active participant out there. More people are interested in watching something live or through video versus reading content. It gets the most engagement, the most interaction. And in fact, live streaming, which is what Facebook Live is a platform that is above all else the most active, the most engaging. And in social media terms, that's really key. That's the gold of what you want as you build your brand and your audience and your awareness of your organization on any social channel, and certainly on Facebook. It's just amazing. And here's what's nice. So in today's call, we're going to talk about ease of use for Facebook Live. It really is very easy. In fact, let me go and switch that slide. The importance of planning your Facebook Live program, and then we're going to go live, which will be fun, and some tips for success and some ideas that may help you just navigate it once you finally decide to do it. And again, I know there's some people out there that already done this. I know, for example, Susanna Brune with Gilded has done this. I know that Interurban Art House is doing some really phenomenal things, and there are probably others beyond that I can we can talk about. But to this end, this is our plan for the day. We'll get done within an hour, Q&A. Should be really good. So are you ready to go live on Facebook? And you may look at this first panel and say, do you have a Facebook page? What a silly question is that? I've actually been in presentations where we're talking about social media, and I've had people in the group not even have a smartphone. So just so you know, Facebook page is important if you want to go live, whether it's a personal page, a group page, an event, or a business. And also take a look at your internet speed if you're going to go live. You need to make sure that it's relatively high, only that your quality of video is going to translate well on a live feed. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't go live with something you pre-record. So if you decide to shoot something way off the grid, record it, and then you can post it live later and answer people's questions and engage with your followers that way. So going live really is the easy part. Which camera you want to use? Most people utilize their smartphone, but remember, you can use your tablet, your laptop. Today I'm going to use my desktop to show Facebook Live to you. And you literally just go to the page you want to broadcast from, whether it's your personal page, your group, an event, or your business page. and you literally engage as you would as a typical post, but you select live instead. So here's the part that's marketing and what I get into and why I'm here today. I want to make sure that when you decide to go live, that you really understand what your purpose is. So your content can provide some continuity, and people who are looking at it are wondering, why am I looking at this? So your purpose could be you have an event coming up, or maybe you want to teach some people some technique or some new music you're learning. Potentially it's to build awareness of yourself at a gallery show, or maybe just want to increase page likes. By really determining what your purpose is will help you to move forward in producing really great live videos. You also need to make a plan. So you want to ideally understand when your fans are online, so when you go to the trouble of doing a live video, which can be a little nerve-wracking, you actually are able to attract as many of your current fans as possible. Now, what I'm showing you here on the left-hand side of the screen is something from Post Insights. And if you're someone with a business page, you have over 50 fans, you've probably got this available to you. And what you're seeing is a week's worth of data that shows you when your fans are online, and the blocks on top are Sunday through Saturday, and then that kind of blue-gray blob at the bottom shows when your fans are online overall during the week, and they come on about 3 o'clock in the morning and drop off about 9 o'clock in this case. The darker blue line, or the darker line you see, is specific to this Sunday. And what you can see here is on Sundays, it looks like about 8 o'clock in the morning, get a little peak of people being online that are also your fans. And you also see this pretty good increase about the 7 o'clock hour. These are things you want to think about as you think about posting live. When are my fans online? And if you have this, great. If you don't, like I don't have that many followers on Rattlebox yet, know that the best times and days for Facebook posting are typically weekdays between 1 and 4 o'clock. This will vary depending on your audience. Pay attention to when you see people engaging with you. And of course, it goes even deeper than that. It can be what you're posting, but do pay attention to that. No, people are using Facebook. Weekdays between 1 and 4 tend to be the best. So next is, as you're making a plan, be sure and prep your settings. Now, I'm showing you a screen from the desktop, Facebook Live, and this is audience settings, which allows you to engage in maybe a certain age group that you want to participate with, or maybe you want to make it public. That's entirely up to you, but you do have that control. You can also decide to allow only select locations, maybe just Kansas City, or maybe you want to restrict some communities outside of this area that you don't want to have see your video. That's all up to you. Also, something very interesting is comments. This is in settings again on the desktop. You can actually make it so that people who comment are only your followers, or maybe you have a time lapse so you can only comment every 10 seconds. As we talk a little bit more about engagement and go further into this presentation, you'll see how important it is for you to, as best you can, engage with your audience. And so this particular setting option on comments may be one you take advantage of as you try to really use Facebook Live to your best advantage. So next is make a plan. So it's important you communicate your pending broadcast. One, you can go Facebook Live just anytime you want, but if you're looking to really try to develop some consistency, I highly recommend you look at scheduling your Facebook Live posts. It'll hold you accountable, and it will also, Facebook allows the opportunity for messages to be posted on your feed and shared to your followers that you're going to go on Facebook Live soon. You can schedule as quickly as in the next 10 to 15 minutes, or you can look 7 days ahead. And what happens is, on this left-hand side of the screen, you can see the schedule a live video, you can select a date, and then over to the right side, there's your announcement post preview, where you can update the content within there, and including the image, and it will, again, share with your followers you're getting ready to go on live. So this is all part of communicating. Other people create events. I know I've seen that happen, and Facebook offers that opportunity. And I've also seen some of my clients and folks I know send out emails through their email database about their Facebook Live. Any place that you can really drum up participation is a really good thing. Facebook makes it easy. Again, they want us to use their platform. And then makeup plan still. You need to practice. If you've not gone live before, it's a little unnerving. I don't want you to be scared of it because the opportunity is there for you to be your real authentic self. But it's also important to practice, right? You don't want to just go out there and do it without any practice. So how do you translate on screen? What about your surroundings? Do you need equipment? And I just posted this. It's kind of funny. This is a video of me several months ago, and I'm looking at things like, is my horizontal camera angle right? Is the video, or where do I put my eyes? And I actually kind of went in and edited this, and you can see at some point I realized, okay, I need to put my eyes here so I know what to do when I go live on a video. So things like this are helpful. It seems kind of silly, but at the same time, it will make you feel more comfortable when you're being very spontaneous on Facebook Live. So with that, let's go live, and I'm going to take off my camera, and hopefully everyone has their Facebook up. I've actually pulled here to my own Facebook page, Rattlebox Marketing, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And it is literally the page that, you know, has posts and different things that I have on it. And I'm going to go to the right-hand bottom side, and I'm going to essentially create a Facebook Live post. So if you're following with me, I'll try to go slow enough so we can do it together. But you hit the live button here, and this, by the way, is new. If you've utilized the desktop version, it's Live Producer, so there is still an opportunity, just so you know, to switch to the previous version if you're more comfortable with that. I know Facebook is going to make it look this way, so I'm going to keep going here. So here's what's going on. I'm going to make this really big. On the left-hand side of the field, you can see that you've got live, switch to previous, go live now, schedule a live video. The first thing you want to do, because I don't think any of us wants to broadcast this to everyone on our page, is to just go down to the bottom of the left-hand corner and select test. It kind of phases out and pops back in again. Just relax as Facebook goes through that. And then you want to go in again on this far left side under this live button, and I'm going to share it to a page I manage, which happens to be Rattlebox, right? And I select that. And again, a little phase out and phase in, just relax. This is what Facebook likes to do. And then, and it just undid my test broadcast. So make sure you're still under test. And I'm going to give this video a title, ArtsKC, and I'm going to say test Facebook Live. Now here's what's kind of nice about this. When you're in this field of just kind of putting some content in, I can actually tag businesses. So I'm going to tag ArtsKC. There they are, so that they'll be there. And then you are almost ready. You can also add a location. And I'm going to, again, add ArtsKC. There you are. Whoops, I just went too far. And you can also within here raise money. You could decide you want to, again, I know this is a test video, I'm just sharing with you. You can decide you want to fundraise for a variety of different charities, or maybe there's some fundraisers that you're associated with because of the friends you're following and the people you're following. You can also add a feeling if you want, like maybe I'm feeling happy that I'm here doing this test with you guys. And you can see over here on the right-hand side, things keep kind of going back and forth and being wonky, and that's okay. We're going to now come to this main part of the screen. The default is use a stream key, but in fact, we want to use our camera. And you will see in the bottom right-hand corner here is my face. You can actually scroll up a little bit, and you can see yourself a little bit larger. And what happens is you're ready now to start the test. Now, don't get nervous. It will actually do a countdown for you, and then Facebook will allow the test to keep running until you stop talking. So as soon as you finish saying I'm whatever your name is and what you want to say, it will stop, and you'll see there's a little red button. We're going to go ahead and go now. And 3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Amy with Rattlebox Marketing. I'm testing this video out with my friends from ArtsKC and the arts organizations that are participating in this call. And at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see an end test broadcast, and you'll go ahead and hit that. And you will want to go ahead and hit end here because you've ended your broadcast. You're testing it. You may go for a little longer as you do this on your own. And give it just a second. Oh, sorry, hit end broadcast one more time. Let me try this again. Here we go. My video is ended. You can rate the quality of the broadcast. I don't worry about that. I am going to view the post though, and this is kind of fun. You can take a look and you can see. I'm testing this video out with my friends from ArtsKC. So you can see that's how I looked when I did it. And you can go ahead and delete the video and return to your page. So that's how it works. And it will ask you, are you sure you want to do that? Confirm. And I'm going to confirm that I am going to do that. But that's going live. If you look here, I have actually gone live with a post yesterday. And just so you can see, as I went live and I provided as a test, only the admins and editors of Rattlebox Marketing can see this post. So just so you know, no one else will see it, but it gives you a great opportunity to see what's going on and how things are coming together on the desktop side. Now, I want to go back to live screen really quickly. And does anyone, Mariah, were there any questions about what I just went through that maybe popped up?
No questions yet.
Oh, you guys
remember,
are good.
Everybody type them in the chat. If you have any questions, continue, Amy.
Yeah, hopefully not. It's pretty CNC, but it can get this new live producers a little different. So some of the things that you'll want to remember is using the scheduler. So let's say, so you've done your live video or went live now. Here's something that is very interesting to use. It's schedule a live video. And we've talked a little bit about the ability to communicate with people. As soon as you say schedule a live video, you can see below, it is, I don't know exactly what time, must be about 3:50, because it says you can post something at as quickly as 4:02, schedule it. And so that's kind of nice because over here on the right hand side, you can see an announcement post preview. So what Facebook is doing is allowing you ads, or not ads, you don't pay for them, but posts so that you can help market your upcoming live video. You can also go ahead and select the calendar view and decide you're going to do it on May 12th at not 1:45 in the morning, let's say 1:30 in the afternoon. And that will allow you, you'll actually see these dates change over here in your announcement post preview. And then you'll also want to add content here. So we can put an optional title like this is going to be my Facebook Live on May 12th. But here I'm going to say something like excited to share Facebook Live tips with, and I'm going to again tag ArtsKC. They can be tagged within it. Here you can raise money if you want, again, or fundraisers, etc. Just so you know that option is there. I can go over here and I can, oh, sorry, hold on a second, I'm going a little bit too fast for my own good. I can select a new image. So I wish I had a great picture of a dog. We were actually looking at some of those things yesterday, and that's a bad image. I don't have an image that's going to work. Hold on a second. You can change your image, which is terrific. This is kind of a funny image of me and my family. I had a better one earlier, but you can see how the image changes. This is not one I'd use for my Facebook Live tips, but something so you can see. And you can also review the audience settings here. If you'll remember, we talked about, I don't think I want this one to be public. I'm going to make sure you're 21 plus years of age, and I'm going to only allow it in Kansas City, Missouri. And it should pop up, and then I'm going to save that. And so here under settings, you have things that are a little bit beyond my pay grade. Stream, ending live video stream stops, allow embedding, things like that. These are things you'll probably just want to leave there. The viewing, also allowing viewers to rewind is probably a good idea. Leave that as default. But here's that comment section I talked about earlier, where if you're actually going to be posting live video, you might want to slow down the comments every 10 seconds, or maybe you want to make sure commenters must have accounts that are at least 2 weeks old. These are just things you can help rein in the amount of feedback you get from people while you're on your live video. And then once you get started, you'll actually get a large, so we're gonna go ahead and schedule the live video just for fun. I'm sure that's gonna pop up. People are gonna, what is going on with this? And you will be able to go in and you have URLs that you can use. You have a live video URL you'll be able to utilize after the video is created, and also just so you know, you have a live video stream set up here too. So there's just, this is, if you will, the back end for what you probably will use, actually your phone. You'll want to set up on Facebook on desktop. So we've gone live. And I want to make sure, whoops, I want to make sure you guys know when you go mobile, which maybe a lot of you will do, it will be very different. Mobile is much more similar to what you may also experience with Instagram or Snapchat or maybe even TikTok. As you pull up, you still set it up the same way. I'm going to make a comment and it's going to go live video. So what you see here on the far left-hand side of the screen is it's a public post, or maybe it's to your friends. You'll want to change that. There's a little white arrow that you can click on, and that screen or the image you see in the middle of the screen allows you to select your audience. Here I've selected as only me, but this is where you could decide I'm just going to share it with the group that I belong to or just specific friends. And in this case, I selected only me. And because this is so small and you're on your phone, and oftentimes you're a little more rushed, or it's a little less, I'm not going to say professional, maybe less prepared, it's also good to know. You can see that when I changed to only me, there it shows up on that far right image of only me, and that makes me feel really good. Because if you're doing a test, it's important to know that you're just going to share with yourself. So a couple of things. There's iconography at the bottom of both of these photo images. One says live video. On mobile app, you can actually share a live video with a friend. You can't do that on your desktop yet, but you can. And so that green little bring a friend, you can bring somebody in. You can do the fundraising as you can on the desktop. That's that button, the third button on the right. And if you scroll through, there's also, I don't know that any one of us would ever use it, but different masks and stuff you can put on to film your video. Maybe you want to look like a Lone Ranger, or you've got some sunglasses. So that's available. And then I've got this little magic wand circled on the far right. That is what everyone's going to be really familiar with, or most, as you look at Instagram and some of their filters, and actually Snapchat and some of their filters. You can have stars and sparkles and hearts floating around your head while you're filming your live video. I'm not saying it's something you're going to use. I'm just letting you know that's where that stuff is. And so you're going to tap to add a description. And if you look here on this screen on the far left, you can see that's where my test line is, and it kind of just lets you know how it's going to appear when you go to post it on your live video feed through Facebook. And also, as soon as you add that headline, you also get the image of a person as well as a little emoticon and the location. So here you can tag your friends here. And so what's important is for you to remember that you make sure your friends are okay with it, but knowing that anytime you tag people or organizations, that helps build your your community on Facebook or on social channels, and it certainly helps with the algorithms on Facebook. Ideally, anyone you tag is going to be grateful you did, and they're going to share your post, or they're going to make a comment, they're going to engage with you, which just raises your credibility with everyone out there in the social channels. The other thing to look at too is try to add a location if you can. This is really important, only again because people then realize, oh, that's in Kansas City, or that's just down the street. It's just, again, raises your credibility on them. on the social channels and certainly here. So, and again, this is all mobile app screens, just so you can see it looks a little different. I have a feeling most of us will be working off mobile first versus our desktop computers. So you're ready, you've gone live, now what? So don't forget, you want to understand what your viewers want to experience, kind of figure that out. As you begin to do your live video, please remember to introduce yourself. Not everyone's going to know who you are. Literally, I'm Amy with Rattlebox Marketing. I'm here explaining Facebook Live to a group of arts organizations with ArtsKC. Encourage sharing. It literally asks people, hey, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, share it with your friends right now. I'd love it if you'd help me out. And don't forget to be yourself. Spontaneity really does work. And I've got some examples I'll share with you here in a bit. And as you sign off, remember to reintroduce yourself, because there will be people who sign in who do not know who you are and don't know what's going on. And so when you just say, hey, I'm so glad you joined us, this is Amy with Rattlebox, it will help them connect the dots as to what they were watching. Some professional tips. Keep your videos short. Now, I know a lot of us do longer videos, and that's okay. Less than 5 minutes tends to be the sweet spot, but I do know that there are times when you have longer videos, and that's okay. In that regard, think about when if you have a 30-minute video, think about when you might want to come, just break in every 10 or 15 minutes and say, hey, this is whomever you are, and this is what we're doing, because there will be people who join your video and won't know right away. So that introduction will help. Wipe your lens with a soft cloth before going live. Yes, I said soft cloth because I wear glasses. I can't tell you the time when I've seen pictures or videos where you can tell the lens wasn't clean. So just think about that. Definitely use some sort of stabilizing device, a tripod. It will help the quality of your videos. And consider some consistency in posting. Maybe it's Tuesdays, maybe it's once a month, but when you start to develop that kind of consistency with your audience, they'll come to expect it. You'll start to develop this huge bank of videos that you can use later if you download them on YouTube or your website. It's just something that would be really beneficial to your brand. And when you think about consistency and posting all the time, remember to be relevant as far as what you're wearing and what's around you. You don't want to be stuck in a holiday sweater trying to promote something in July. So be cognizant of that. Make your content as evergreen as you possibly can. And you heard me mention earlier, engage with your viewers. We talked about how you can adjust the comments within the desktop application to make those a little bit easier to understand. When you're working on your desktop, it might be a little bit easier to say, hey, Amy or Mariah, I'm glad you're here today. But if you're working off your phone, it's harder. Having a partner helps, and I encourage you, even if you can't engage with the people during the live video, make it a point and give yourself some time to go back and really communicate with those people that make comments or liked your post, just to let them know you saw them and you appreciate their attending your event. So I've got some Facebook Live examples I think you guys will enjoy. A few artists, but also just to remind you how very fresh this is. So I think a few of you may know Wes Hamilton. Give me just a second.
You're live. You know, quarantine-ish. Hey, everybody, this is Wesley Hamilton, the Executive Director of the Disabled.
You know, an executive director who is so funny and messing with his beard as he's going live. That's the kind of authenticity people want to hear. This is a great example, a store named Stuff. Some of you guys may be familiar with it. They're doing a happy hour during quarantine, and their posting is really quite funny.
It is time for virtual happy hour with the Stuff Sisters. The Stuff Sisters. That's me and you. That's you and me. You and me, babe. And you. And you. And me. And
so what's nice about them is that they do have a very authentic feel. Everyone who's been to their store knows how wonderful the artists and the crafts that they do there. And they're just having a good time. They also, because they have someone who's actually filming them, have someone who's telling them, hey, Amy's on the line or Katie's on the line. And so they'll shout out to those of us who are watching. You don't always have to have a vocal. You can just have music. Here's a great example of Teresa Dirks. Just music and showing technique. And I know I want to show you guys some poetry. This is out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Oh, sorry, that's a little loud.
If you don't know us, you're in a local poetry group here in Scranton, and we just had a anthology come out last week called Poets Live. And
a poetry form, untitled and uncredited.
You can see they're probably posting from someone's living room. It's kind of fun. It's a 2.5-hour post. It's very long, but again, kind of fun to see what people are doing. I know a few of you are probably interested in using Zoom. We're not really going to get into that today, but I did want to show you some ways people are doing that.
I believe, let's see, I'm going to wait for just a second here.
You can also hear.
The meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Are we live?
We're live.
Got to work on our intro.
This is a great example of people who went live on Zoom, and you can see they're so new to it, but it really, the audience is endeared to them because of this. It makes it really fun for these folks. And then I wanted to show you this Zoom. I don't know as much about this. This is pretty interesting. And this is poets as well.
Landed on the moon.
Hold on one second. A lot of people.
Hello. Hello. Hello, everybody. Right. How many have we got?
I'm going to mute this just a second. They've got 80 comments, 1.2 thousand views, 44 reactions here. It's a real tremendous boon, and it's working pretty interestingly on Zoom. So I wanted y'all to see that, just kind of fun stuff that people are doing out there in the world. So I am done with my presentation. I don't know if there's any questions, but I'm happy to answer any. I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen, come back to the call.
Thank you, Amy. Good to see your face again. Speaking of using the camera, there were a couple people that were struggling with that camera issue popping up on Facebook Live that you and I figured out earlier today. Could you talk a little about that?
I completely forgot to, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about that in the moment. So when you share your screen and you want to use your camera to do a Facebook Live, you've got to unhook or disconnect the camera as you would your mic. When you do that, I'm going to do that really quick. You can see I go just A/B, but it'll allow you to use your camera on Facebook while you're doing your Facebook Live. I knew that might happen, and I'm so sorry that I neglected to share that with y'all.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so that happens with a lot of different programs. All you have to do is turn off your camera from one program or one open tab that's using it, and then refresh your, in this case, your Facebook Live page, and that camera issue will go away. So I wanted to talk about that, address that, and then I'm just going to go down the line through the questions on the chat. Elizabeth Lane wanted to know, how did you make it so that only your staff sees the test? So can you talk about Facebook admins and that kind of thing?
Sure, absolutely. So when you go into Facebook and you set up a business page, you need to set up administrators who can work on your page. And I assume that most people know what I'm talking about. But what happens is then as you create a test video, that then is only seen by those who have administrative responsibility on your Facebook page. So that's how that's set up. It's a little bit different than doing Facebook Live. I'm happy to share that, but it is about setting up admin settings in your Facebook business page.
Great, thank you. So another question, which we will actually have a separate class on this. This was just real basic Facebook Live, but we'll have a separate class about integration with other tools. But maybe Amy, you can give us a kind of a quick overview or some insight that you've experienced. What are the best ways to integrate things like Zoom so that you can interact with others on your live stream to maintain social distancing?
So one of the things that everyone needs to be aware of is integrating with Zoom, for example, means you have to have a paid account with Zoom to do that. Now that may work differently within the 501c3 organizations, but I know for me, I have to pay for an account to get Zoom to integrate. And you saw that one, or actually a couple of the Poets event where they were utilizing Zoom. Someone's paying for that. But certainly those opportunities exist so that you can have multiple people within a broadcast. And I think maybe we've all seen some of the fabulous musicians and choirs who are presenting these gorgeous works of art through this sort of grid setup. It's not all live, but certainly something that you can do. Now, you can record your Zoom call and you can post it live onto Facebook. That is certainly an opportunity to take advantage of, and there's no reason why you can't do that. And then what you would be is you would be live while that video posted, and you actually provide you a little bit easier interaction with folks who are commenting because your video is playing and you're able to answer questions or say, yeah, we're going to take some more questions at the end when you know, this event is over. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Yeah, and another question from Damron Armstrong. How do you add people to a live chat to interact with them and possibly others?
So you can't add people to a live chat on the desktop side. You can add a person to this phone on your mobile device, right? I have not used that as much. You need to certainly get their permission, but what happens, maybe some of you have seen some of the Instagram stories that have multiple people or two people on a post. That's basically what happens. You're talking and your friend's talking, and it splits the screen. And what's kind of nice about that is you might be able to partner up with someone who's remote, away from where you are, and you guys can complement each other in what you're trying to present on a Facebook Live. And again, you would have to do that through your mobile device, not through desktop.
So I will add in a little tidbit of information on top of Amy's comments to answer Damron's question. We had a class last Wednesday with Gary Bukes, and he talked with us about some additional programs that you can use to manage your live streaming, regardless of what platform you're on. If you're using Zoom, if you're using Facebook or Instagram, there are some programs, one in particular called Switcher, that you can use that's in addition to the live program that you're using, that will allow you to switch back and forth from screens, split your screen. It kind of makes you like a TV producer. You can decide who's on the screen, who's speaking now, and kind of share, have many people on a production at once. So if you want to see that recording from last week, there is a link on ArtsKC.org under programs and audience development. And I'll also send, it's in the same page that you'll get a link to this recording later this week. So next question. Moving right along. Bill Sundahl has a question. Again, how do we link Zoom meeting with Facebook Live? They're planning an event to show a movie followed by a panel discussion at the end. Bill, were we able to, you can unmute yourself, were we able to answer your question about linking Zoom with Facebook Live?
Not exactly, but clearly this isn't the platform for that. I mean, we do have a paid account, so that's a good start. And okay. I'm pretty proficient at nerding out and figuring things out. So there's got to be some YouTube tutorials out there, you know.
You'll find some really great information with Zoom itself. It's pretty see and say. I don't have the paid platform for Zoom. You basically connect it through the webinar, and it's something I think you'll find relatively easy to do, and Zoom should be able to talk you right through it. So that's my experience not having the paid account and seeing the information that's out there. So I hope that helps, Bill.
It does. And what I learned today is you can test it. I thought I was going to have to do it at like 2 in the morning when no one's watching. So I can be like, we're just idiots trying to figure this out.
I know. You know, Facebook wants you to use Absolutely. Once you use the platform, sometimes we forget they allow you to test it, which is a huge boon for any of us who just get a little uncomfortable getting in front of a camera. It is weird. It's odd. So it's nice to know that you can be a little private as you're practicing.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. And Amy, I'm gonna move back down these questions. Amy, do you have any experiences, Donnie Rogers has asked this question, any experiences with Facebook Premiere feature for videos?
I have not used that yet. So that is not a question I can answer and say, yes, I have. So no.
Okay, and just so everyone knows, I save these chats and I'm taking notes here. So these questions are also helping me to formulate classes moving forward. And I might, considering how many people are asking about Zoom and Facebook Live, we might do like a mini session before next Wednesday just to talk about that, if I can get someone on the hook really fast. And so Facebook Premiere is another thing we might cover later on. Jeff Barker wants to know, can you share a Facebook Live feed on your feed live? Obviously from someone you trust in your organization. So can you, Jeff, you can unmute yourself and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you mean sharing someone else's Facebook Live feed on your organization's feed and both being live? Is that what you meant, Jeff? Oh, maybe Jeff left the call. But yeah, Amy, if you could address that, I think that's what Jeff meant by that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. The hard thing about being in a meeting room with a grid, you forget when you can talk and can't. Yes, you absolutely can share your live video. I think it's important to remember if you get people to share your live video, it actually helps build traction for you as your brand. That's why I suggested as you're doing your live video, you have a moment and you think about it, and you won't remember every time, and that's okay. Say, hey, if you love this video, share it, or have someone type that in for you, share this video. What'll happen is it'll share live to your feed, to whatever page you, the sharer, are logged into. And then once that live video is over, it'll actually publish that in that screen that no one seems to like, or at least it concerns me, where it says, someone posted this content, but it wasn't meant for your eyes, and so it's gone now, or something. You think, what did my friends post? Well, it could have been a live video. And so it's certainly available. I recommend it. And then if you do share somebody's live video, remember that eventually you might want to go back to your own feed and maybe remove that, because it does look kind of antisocial to say you provided something that not everybody can look at because it's not live anymore. So hopefully that answered the question.
Great, thanks, Amy. Susanna has a question. She also said, great inside tips. And so she's wondering, can you mention doing a watch party with your Facebook Live video? And can you do this while live or only after being live with the recorded video post?
I am not going to have a solid answer on this. My guess it's only after, because you can invite people to come in and watch your video, but I don't know that I don't have a clear answer on this. Certainly, yeah, having a watch party is easy. You know, you find a video and you share it. Doing it live, I'm not 100% sure. I can find out and I can give a reply to Mariah and she can share it out.
Great, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
And Susan said she thinks that you're correct on that, or Susanna, sorry. And then Sean O'Hara is asking, do people have to have a Facebook account to view Facebook Live? So if someone sends you a Facebook Live link, can you just click on that and it shows you without having to log into an account?
Wow, that's a really great question. That is a really great question. My experience is that you should be able to, for the most part, see it, at least for the short term. But I also know sometimes Facebook catches that and they say, hey, you don't have an account. Don't you want to sign in for an account? So yes and no. I think you should be able to. But that said, remember you can download the live videos after they're live and they've gone live. You can download them using a variety of different free software, and you can then share that to your web page or send it out as an email or put it on your YouTube channel. And so that's another way for people to see your video if for some reason Facebook shuts you out, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, it just depends. And I think we may have all experienced that when someone clicks a link on Facebook, you're not logged in and it tells you don't have an account. Do you want to log in to continue, kind of thing? So.
Well, that leads us right into Clint's question. Can you embed a Facebook Live video on an outside website like you can a YouTube video?
Yes, you can. You can't do it while it's live.
But only after it's been recorded.
Yeah, so it's something that I think people kind of, that's why I think it's so interesting if you can be consistent and you know you're going to post on a monthly basis, for example. You start to build a real library of information, which can help your website search engine optimization, which can maybe be some sort of piece you want to provide in an email that you're communicating with your patrons, whatever it is. It's just, that's your video. You created it, you just download it, and you can tweak it then, of course, through whatever video editor you want to use and make it your own, add closed captioning, things like that. So. Okay,
great. And then Sean has another question. Is it true that you have to like the Facebook organization's, like the organization's Facebook page in order to see their Facebook Live event?
No. You can see anyone's Facebook Live event as long as you know that it's there. This is why it's really fun to encourage your friends to share it, because I guarantee you I'm following pages that some of my friends are not following, and I may post some, you know, music event that's going live, and suddenly you've got new people looking at your content that otherwise wouldn't see it. So video certainly helps, but it isn't a guarantee that, I mean, and yes, people can see your post if they happen to be there, but if they don't know it's going to happen, they're not going to see your live event. Sorry, that was a little convoluted, but hopefully got my drift.
Okay, great. Well, that brings us to the end so far. We do have 10 minutes left on the call, so we have time if you guys want to put more in the chat, but I also want to give some space for people on the phone to unmute if you have questions for Amy. Doesn't look like anybody on the phone has questions. Does anyone that is using GoToMeeting on video have any questions or comments you want to throw towards Amy?
Hey, Amy, this is Brandon Harrelson with ArtsKC as well. I do have a question. We talked about adding other people to a Facebook Live event, but we all know that, like with Facebook, tagging other organizational pages is sometimes difficult. Is there a way for, like, if we're ArtsKC and we wanted to go live with, you know, the ballet or Owen Cox Dance Group, another non-personal page, is that doable as well?
So you ask a good question. I know you can do that with individuals. It seems like, yes, you should be able to do it, but again, it's the you're talking maybe like a split screen, I assume.
Right.
Yeah, you'd have to do it through mobile video. You want to set all the back end on the desktop, so you got the messaging and like that, but then you do it on the mobile app with the invite a friend, and you would invite that person. You should be able to do it.
Okay.
Thanks, Brandon. That's a really good question. I think that again can be something we can address sooner than later on another informational call or another marketing class, because I think that would be really great if organizations could team up together and go live. Has anyone on the call done that successfully? Partnered with anyone else to go live on Facebook? Oh, Bill?
Sorry,
Yeah.
this is Bill Sundahl. We've never partnered ahead of time to go live, but when someone would go live and then we would immediately share it to our page so that it's being seen in both places. But I mean, this was about a year ago, so I don't know that maybe it was an option and we just didn't explore it that far. We just knew that you could do that. So as soon as they were live, he'd text me and I would go live. And then we do another live stream weekly that I basically gave admin access to the host of that program. And so he shares it. Once he goes live, he then shares it on our page really quickly.
Yeah,
Great.
and that's an excellent way to do it, Bill. But I've got to believe there's an interest to having to a split screen and having two people kind of bouncing back and forth on each other with comments and sharing and building that community. That would be interesting to explore. And I'm pretty sure you can do it with businesses. You should be able to. And if in case I'm wrong, I'll confirm that. But in case I'm wrong, I'll let Mariah know right away. And we don't have to explore it any further. But it's an excellent opportunity to show that camaraderie within the arts organizations if we can.
Yeah, and remember, we do have that prior class from last week that does talk about additional tools, free and paid tools that will allow you to use different screens at the same time and switch between people, do split screens. It'll also allow you to put logos up or have text scrolling across the bottom, really let you produce the live video that you're doing. So go back and check out that class with Gary Bukes. And then Clint has another question. If we create an event on Facebook to get people to know it's coming, then schedule a live video, can we have the live video automatically shared into the event?
Yeah, because, well, is your event the live video, Clint?
Clint, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Clint. Yes, it's the live video is the event. Yes, you should be able to. Oh my gosh, what happened to Clint? You should be able to do that without any problems. It's a matter of it's your event. You're going to create a live. The event is the live stream. Are you with us?
Oh, Clint's getting fancy over here.
I'm getting crazy.
You're very quiet.
Sorry about that. Getting my studio stuff out.
Nice. Yeah, you look very professional.
I'm sure with the AirPod and everything. Yes, the event is the live video, but to get people to RSVP and to like promote it, so that way they see it coming up. We've created an event and then we have a scheduled live video, and so getting the live video to share into the event, so that way people are always asking, where do we see this live video? I just recently learned your your organization /live goes to whatever live video you have. I just learned that.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I wanted to just, if I'm producing the live event, does it, like, can I have it automatically, the live video automatically shared to certain locations? Or do I just need to have one of my admins, when the live event starts, share it into that event so they see it's coming?
So I know, Susanna, you just experienced this. You did, and Clint, I assume you're talking about an event that you set up through Facebook, right? Not like an Eventbrite. Susanna, you just did something like this where you set up an event through Facebook and then you had live video. Can you help answer this question for Clint?
Well, we had a video and a pre-prepared workshop. And what we did is we added 30 seconds prior to it, or a 30-second countdown, so that we can share it out there for 30 seconds before it actually goes live, or people who are looking, getting on our Facebook page have 30 seconds before the video actually starts.
So, Clint, what you're asking is, like, if I log into the event, that Facebook live video is going to post right away, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting.
And Susanna, what you're saying is people logged into Facebook still, correct?
Yeah, we just, instead of doing a pre-party, we just did a 30-second countdown. We were debating how far a countdown do we want to do. Do we want to do 3 minutes and then have the video start right at noon as we advertised, The workshops start right at noon as we advertised. The one thing we found difficult was we were actually switching between live and apps, because at Facebook you could actually, we chose, we were using pre-recorded videos, and we thought we could do live Q&A, but we've had some issues with that. So that's something yet we have to practice on, is switching between apps and live, and yeah.
Clint, I'm gonna go and just double check. My gut is yes, you can do it, but I want to confirm that, because it may take one of the things is Facebook wants you to use it, but sometimes you get into the site and it's like, what am I looking at here? And trying to understand and navigate all those pathways can be confusing. So I'll look into that and I'll confirm, because if I can make that happen for you and Facebook makes it easy, it would be fantastic, right? So
Yeah.
Bill, you have a question?
No, it was a sort of comment along those lines, and it's not I don't think it's the answer to your question, except I've seen several people do it. They just paste the link where you watch the video into the location of the event. Instead of the address, you paste in the URL.
yeah.
That's where
That's
people
what
are used to looking on Facebook events and where do I go see this? So in the interim, before that gets figured out, maybe that's one way to.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that is also what we've been doing to promote events on ArtsKC Go as well. So instead of in the venue, it says the venue type is online or virtual space, and then the link is right there to the the URL where the event is happening. That's a good workaround, Bill. Thank you. Okay, we are exactly at 4:30. What a miracle. I hope that this has been informative for everyone. And thank you, Amy, so much for spending time sharing your insights with us. And just so you all know, for in this class and previous classes and classes coming up, I am considering doing like 2.0 versions of a topic or 3.0 versions. So if you have some time over the next few weeks and you're playing around with Facebook Live and you have additional questions about Facebook Live, just know that you can send those to me and we can do a follow-up class that's a little bit in more detail than the basic level that we looked at today. So thanks everybody, and I will send all of you a follow-up email later this week. If you don't get one, please email me. My email is mhillson, HILLSON, @artskc.org. So thanks everybody, and thanks again, Amy.
Thank you so much. It was great talking with you guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
Bye.